Live from WTVO 17 and your home team, Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
A Friday night staple canceled. The reason why Rockford City Market organizers say tomorrow's event won't be happening.
COVID-19 could force some Illinois counties to fall back into phase 3, the two areas facing the highest risk.
From the state line to Mars, NASA is on a mission to the red planet, and the contribution of a Roscoe manufacturer is helping to get them there. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. After weeks and weeks of protests, Rockford's City Market is canceling tomorrow's event.
Organizers say City Market is a place to come together and be neighborly, but that's not what's been happening. Alexis Carpello is live in downtown Rockford tonight with reaction from a vendor. Alexis?
Well, Eric and Mimi, it's been difficult for vendors here at City Market, first dealing with a delayed opening due to COVID-19, and now tomorrow's event's being canceled altogether because of recent worries over protests. City Market organizers call them, quote, disruptive and aggressive. And it mentioned that the group has been out for the past 4 weeks with megaphones, music, and a speaker calling for charges against Rockford police officers after a May 30th protest. Rockford City Market extended boundaries to try and deter people from protesting inside of the market, but Jam and Jerk Grill food truck owner Renee Radway says each week there's more and more people.
They were standing exactly behind our truck. So it was like the loudspeaker going on, and then we had police on one side of the truck, police on the other side of the truck. It was just very disturbing, actually, to be there trying to do business and worried about what's going on behind us when we really couldn't see.
Radway says the call to cancel tomorrow isn't ideal, but it makes the right decision. We'll hear from more vendors tonight at 6 and their experiences here at City Market. But for now, live in Rockford for your home team, I'm Alexis Carpello.
Thank you, Alexis. Governor Pritzker warned some Illinois areas could go back into phase 3 as early as next week. He spoke in both Peoria and LaSalle counties today. The Peoria County Public Health Administrator says the positivity rate doubled in the last 2 weeks there. According to Pritzker, most of the increase is tied to people younger than 30 having large social gatherings. He points out moving an area back would close bars and force restaurants to return to carry-out and delivery only.
An area or a county has to have a 7-day rolling average over 8% positivity rate to move back under the governor's reopening plans. Winnebago County's rate was under 3% last week, but has been steadily trending upward. As of yesterday, it was 3.9%. Starting Saturday, anyone in Wisconsin will be required to wear a mask. The governor declared a new national public health emergency today, ordering face coverings for anyone over the age of 5. Anyone who violates the order can be fined $200. This comes after a spike in COVID cases across Wisconsin. The new order runs until September 28th.
One person's in custody after a deadly shooting last night at a Freeport motel. Police arrested this man, Willie Love. He is charged with murder. Investigators are searching for a second person, Travion Harvey of Chicago. That's who's in this surveillance photo. It was taken at the Town Home Motel on West Galena Avenue. He was last seen in a black and gray minivan. Harvey is considered armed and dangerous.
3 Chicago police officers were hurt in a shooting this morning on the city's northwest side. Police say they were trying to arrest someone for a carjacking. Somehow, that person got a hold of a gun. Right now, police aren't sure if the person had it and officers missed it in their search, or if the person was able to get the gun from one of the officers. One officer was shot in the neck and taken to the hospital in critical condition. The other officers are expected to be okay.
A NASA rover is on the way to Mars. The spacecraft carrying the rover and its Ingenuity helicopter launched this morning from Cape Canaveral, Florida. Perseverance is scheduled to touch down in February. It will search for signs of ancient microbial life and collect samples for a possible return to Earth. NASA says the mission could pave the way for human exploration beyond the moon. The Rockford area has a connection to that rover.
Michelle Rave caught up with the owner of Force City Gear, who says this is just the latest project they've worked on with the space agency.
NASA's rover Perseverance couldn't have made it to space without some special parts made here in the state line.
Forest City Gear in Roscoe made the gears used in NASA's rover Perseverance. The gears are found in the arm, which helps it function much like a human arm and can grab anything it finds. Forest City Gear has been involved in several rover projects over the years. Typically, it takes up to 8 months to put together the hundreds of pieces needed for the rover. Chairman Frederick Young says it gets even more complex every time.
They each carry, well, many more instruments than the previous versions did, and they gather a lot more information than previously. So each one is much more sophisticated and tasked with new information to bring back about Mars.
Coming up at 6, I'll show you an inside look inside the factory and how they're able to create these sophisticated moving parts. In Roscoe, for your home team, I'm Michelle Rave.
A local business is showing its appreciation for police with a free lunch. The president of CorPro Signs in Loves Park opened up his parking lot today. He added tents and tables filled with hot dogs, brats, and drinks. Officers with Winnebago County, Chesney Park, Loves Park, and Rockford Police were invited to take some time, have lunch, and just relax.
Law enforcement is really getting beat up these days, so we wanted to show them our appreciation and let them know that we back the blue and we appreciate what they do.
CorPro hopes to make this an annual event.
From free lunches to cards of appreciation, many people have been letting local law enforcement know they stand behind them, including a 12-year-old Boone County girl. Dylan Saraki has more.
Poplar Grove 12-year-old Amelia Cackley says initially she started learning how to make wooden flags this summer so she could give one to her dad for Father's Day.
I decided after I was done making that, I'm like, wait, I should make something for the police officers to show like my support. And that's how pretty much the idea came.
Amelia spent hours crafting a blue line flag, which she presented to members of the Boone County Sheriff's Office earlier this month, along with a thank you note. Lieutenant Pat Malloy says deputies were blown away by the gift.
It's just an incredible gesture that she had the courage this time, the environment that she's in, to go ahead and reach out to the sheriff's office. Completely came out of the blue. We were all just absolutely stunned with the craftsmanship that she spent, the amount of time that she spent on it.
We were just thought that the police should know our support. We're planning on doing one for fire stations and other ones, but we just thought the police could need some lift up and happiness kind of.
The flag is now displayed on the wall in the sheriff's office.
We hope that's going to be a constant reminder, that the public does support law enforcement, that our public around here does care.
Amelia says it was exciting to hand over the final product.
On the back of the flag we put, "We support you," and it was a cool moment to see how people when they look at the back, they're like, oh, that's really cool to know.
Amelia says some family and friends have reached out asking for their own flags, and she's considering starting a business to sell them. In Boone County, for your home team, I'm Dylan Saraki.
After nearly a week of memorials paying tribute to a civil rights leader, Congressman John Lewis is laid to rest in his native Georgia.
The funeral was held at the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, the same church once led by Martin Luther King. Lewis died 2 weeks ago after a battle with cancer. Former President Barack Obama delivered the eulogy.
John always said he always saw the best in us, and he never gave up and never stopped speaking out because he saw the best in us.
Presidents George W. Bush and Bill Clinton also spoke. Lewis represented his congressional district in Georgia for more than 3 decades.
President Trump uses social media to suggest the November election be pushed back. On Twitter this morning, President Trump said mail-in voting will lead to the, quote, most inaccurate and fraudulent election in history. A campaign spokesperson says Democrats are using the pandemic to implement universal mail-in voting, meaning voters will get a ballot even if they didn't ask for it. Even Republican congressmen rejected the idea of pushing the election back, saying there's no proof mail-in voting leads to fraud.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Had a couple of showers and a few thunderstorms roll through early this morning. A few light showers down to the south, but it's been the cloud cover that we've been dealing with here for most of this afternoon. And our skies will stay cloudy here as we go through this evening, although we're starting to see a bit more dry air work in, and that's allowing those clouds to break up a little bit further up to the north. We've got this dip in the jet stream known as a trough of low pressure. This is to our west and to our south. That is what has been providing The rain showers moving from the plains into Missouri and central and southern Illinois tied into an area of low pressure. That low pressure system is actually battling high pressure to the north of us, which is feeding in a little bit more dry air. And part of the reason why a lot of that rain has stayed mostly to our south, and it is going to do so as we go through the remainder of this evening. You might start to see the cloud cover thin out a little more the further north you are this evening, but by midnight tonight our skies will turn partly cloudy. Some cooler air actually moving in will allow our temperatures to fall back into the lower 60s. This morning it was a little sticky out there, upper 60s and low 70s to kick off our Thursday. Now we'll build up some cloud cover for tomorrow afternoon, but we don't have a lot of moisture. Futurecast wants to paint in a couple of sprinkles by the mid to late afternoon. I think if anything, we'll probably see just some of those clouds kind of build up, but we should remain mostly dry. Dry then Friday night into Saturday. Sunshine to start us off with on Saturday. Again, we will build up some cloud cover for the afternoon, but by Saturday evening, we might see a couple of showers begin to develop as we're kind of sandwiched between two systems. Cold front up here to the north from Minnesota into northern Wisconsin, and then another area of low pressure down to the south. As those two start to work together, that'll increase the chance for a few showers and even a couple of thunderstorms as we head into Sunday. A live look with our Mercy House SkyTrack camera now up in Beloit, Wisconsin. You can see some of that cloud cover thinning out. We've got some blue sky there. Temperatures pretty comfortable here this evening. A little muggy out there earlier today, but we've gotten rid of some of that humidity. 78 degrees in Rockford, 77 in Freeport, 79 in Monroe, and 75 degrees our current temperature now in Rochelle. This last hour, our weather watcher Bob here in Rockford checked in with 81 degrees and a dew point temperature of 60. And temperatures tonight will drop down around that 60-degree mark underneath a partly cloudy sky. Clouds will continue to decrease here as we go through this evening. High temperature tomorrow back up near 82, so just a little bit below average. And that below average trend is actually going to continue here as we round out the last day of July, which is tomorrow, and then begin the month of August. August begins on Saturday, and you see those temperatures staying below average. Now, not a big cool down coming up, but definitely a contrast from where we started off the month of July when we had low and mid 90s for about the first week and a half of the month. Now, our average high temperatures to kick off August in the low 80s, 84 degrees to begin the month. You notice we don't see a big drop in the average high temperature. August is not a month where we see a big temperature change from beginning to end. And on average, we have just a little over 4.5 inches of precipitation, where we typically see the big change in that temperature, usually during the months of September and October. But definitely a fall-like feel as we've got highs that'll be in the 70s here as we start off early next week. Monday, we will see some showers, but we should dry out, guys, as we head towards the middle to end of next week.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Samantha Rivera.
Bears defensive tackle John Jenkins has been added to the reserve COVID-19 list. Now, what does this mean? Well, they've either tested positive for the virus or were in close contact with someone who has tested positive. ESPN's Rob Domofsky is reporting Packers kicker Mason Crosby, tight end Jay Sternberg, and defensive tackle Trayvon Hester have been added to the list as well. The Cubs are set to play Game 3 of their 4-game series against the Reds tonight, hoping to jump back from Wednesday night's loss. They will have Yu Darvish starting tonight. However, at the moment, they are in a rain delay, scoreless in the top of the first. Philadelphia Phillies announced 2 staff members have tested positive for COVID-19. As a result, they have canceled all activity at Citizens Bank Park. Toronto Blue Jays manager Charlie Montoyo said their games against the Phillies Saturday and Sunday have been postponed because of the coronavirus. Philadelphia hasn't played a game since Sunday when they faced the Miami Marlins. And speaking of the Marlins, they have reportedly brought their total number of positive COVID-19 cases to 19. The Associated Press is reporting another player and 2 staff members have tested positive. They had their season suspended through Sunday after players and coaches tested positive for the coronavirus. And the AHL announced a revised start date for the 2020-2021 season. It's set for December 4th of this year as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And according to the Associated Press, an independent review of the University of Iowa football program found racial bias against black players and bullying by assistants. In a statement, head coach Kirk Ferentz apologized, quote, for the pain and frustration they felt at a time when he was trusted to help each of them become a better player and a better person, end quote. At a press conference today, athletic director Gary Barta announced there would be no personnel changes. Ferentz did say he would make policy changes. The night is finally here, you guys. The NBA makes its official return tonight when the Jazz take on the Pelicans at 5:30 and the Clippers face the Lakers at 8. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
We'll see our cloud cover gradually clear out here as we go through the overnight tonight. Temperatures down around 60 up to 82 for tomorrow. Fairly quiet going into the start of the weekend, but could end that on Sunday with a couple of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. Then we've got some rain showers as we head into the day on Monday, but a much cooler pattern shaping up. Temperatures in the upper 70s. So a little taste of fall here as we kick off the month of August. It's short-lived though. I mean, we'll see the numbers go back up and it'll feel a little bit more like summer by the middle to end of the month.
Nice to have a weekend not so muggy.
It'll feel great.
Thanks, Candace.
Stay safe.